Hey guys, I'm Meoang, and welcome back to my beginner's guide to Starcraft 2. Today we're going to go over the Terran tech tree and all of the Terran units. With Legacy of the Void still in beta, everything is subject to change, especially the new units. If anything is changed, I'll correct it with an annotation, but this guide is going to stay pretty general, so it should stay accurate. When the game first starts, the only structures you can make are command centers, refineries, supply depots, and engineering bays. Engineering bays give you access to upgrades for barracks units, as well as range upgrades for your stationary defense, extra armor for your structures, and additional space for your bunkers. The only unit you can produce right away is the SCV. If you build a supply depot, it will allow you to build a barracks. If you build an engineering bay, it will allow you to construct missile turrets, sensor towers, and change your command centers to planetary fortresses. Planetary fortresses give your command centers automatic defense. Missile turrets are stationary turrets that shoot enemy air units as well as provide detection. Sensor towers reveal enemy locations at long range, but the range of the sensor tower is visible to enemies. The barracks is the production building that produces ground-based biological infantry units. At first, the barracks can only produce Marines and Reapers. Marines are the most basic Terran unit. They are the core of a bioarmy and provide high damage with low health. They are unique because they can shoot air while Zerglings and Zealots cannot. Reapers are extremely mobile units that are used situationally, often only at the beginning of the game. They are very good at scouting your opponent and lightly harassing them. Reapers can jump up and down small cliffs and heal themselves when out of combat. They have an ability that drops a grenade. The grenade explodes after a short time, dealing damage and knocking away any enemy units. With an attached tech lab, the barracks can now produce Marauders. Marauders are like a heavier version of the Marine. They have more health, deal more damage to armored units and structures, but they can only shoot ground units. The Barracks Tech Lab gives you access to 3 upgrades to research. The first is Combat Shields, which simply gives your Marines more health. The second is Stimpack. This gives your Marines and Marauders an activated ability that drains some of their health and increases their movement speed and attack speed for a short time. The third is Concussive Shells, which makes the Marauders attack slow enemy units. If you build a Ghost Academy, a barracks with a tech lab can produce Ghosts. Ghosts are a spellcaster Terran infantry unit. Ghosts start with the ability to use an EMP round, which deals damage to shields and energy of enemy units and also reveals cloaked units for a short time. The Ghost can also initially use an ability called Steady Targeting, which allows the Ghost to take a slow shot that does a lot of damage and ignores armor. Once the barracks is constructed, you can build bunkers, ghost academies, factories, and you can change your command centers to orbital commands. Bunkers are a small place where you can hide infantry units. Enemy units that come near the bunker will be shot at by the infantry units inside of it. This is Terran's form of ground static defense. Orbital commands have 3 spells that use up their energy. The first is to drop a mule, which mines minerals for a short time. The second is Scanner Sweep, which can be used anywhere on the map. It reveals the location and detects cloaks to units. Call down extra supplies. This can be used on a supply depot and makes the supply depot give an additional 8 supply. Ghost Academies allow barracks with a tech lab attached to produce ghosts. It gives access to the Cloak upgrade, which allows ghosts to cloak themselves by draining energy, and it also allows you to produce nukes that can be launched by ghosts. The factory is the production building that produces ground-based mechanical units. Initially, the factory can only produce Hellions and Widow Mines. Hellions are very fast cars that do bonus damage against light units. Their attacks shoot in a straight line, making them very good at dealing with low-tech enemy units and harassing enemy workers. Widow Mines are little robots that can bury themselves. When burrowed, they will shoot out a missile dealing area of effect damage. For a little while after shooting, they can't shoot again. Widow Mines are very effective for harassing enemy workers, as well as sieging up an area in general. With an attached tech lab, factories can produce siege tanks and cyclones. Siege tanks are powerful units that do bonus damage to armored enemies. They have an ability that makes them stationary, but gives them a much greater range and an area of effect attack. They are a huge part of early to mid-game defense and pressure when playing mech. Cyclones are a very mobile unit that lock onto their enemies, meaning that they can move while shooting whatever they've locked onto. They need to stay in a certain range to continue shooting and can attack air units. A tech lab attached to a factory gives access to a few upgrades to research. The first is Infernal Pre-Igniter, often just called Blue Flame. It improves the damage of Hellions and Hellbats against light units. The second is Drilling Claws, which makes Widow Mines burrow and shoot much more quickly. The last one is Mag Field Accelerator, which increases the Cyclone's lock-on damage against armored units. Once an armory is built, a factory can produce Hellbats. Hellbats are transformed Hellions. They're slower, they have more health, they do more damage, and their attack becomes a spray instead of a line. Also with an armory, a factory with a tech lab can produce Thors. Thors are the heavy assault unit from the factory. They are incredibly durable, do a lot of damage, and can shoot both air and ground. Their air attack does bonus damage against light units, which makes them incredibly effective at dealing with things like mutalisks. Once a factory is constructed, it gives you access to building armories and starports. The armory provides upgrades for all mech units and allows Thors and Hellbats to be produced. The starport is the production building that produces flying mechanical units. Initially, a starport can build Vikings, Medevacs, and Liberators. Vikings are transforming units that have an air mode and a land mode. In air mode, the Viking can only attack other air units and does bonus damage against armored units. In ground mode, the Viking can only attack ground units. They are often built specifically for anti-air. Medevacs are flying transport ships that can also heal biological units. They can pick up any ground unit and drop them off at another location. Medevacs also have an ability called Ignite Afterburners, which increases their movement speed for a short time. Medevacs are really what make Terran work, since they enable your bio units to move across the map quickly and stay alive during fights. Liberators are like flying siege tanks. Normally they can only attack other air units, but when they activate Defender mode, they become stationary and attack ground targets in a specific area, dealing high damage to one target at a time. Liberators fill several needs in a Terran army. They're great for early game harassment, they're able to help siege up an area, they're good for anti-air, and they're good for late game damage output. A starport with an attached tech lab can produce Ravens and Banshees. Ravens are flying spellcaster units that also provide detection. The Raven has 3 spells. The first is Build Auto Turret, which constructs a small turret on the ground instantly. The turret lives for a short time and can attack both air and ground units. The second ability is Build Point Defense Drone. This constructs a flying drone that shoots down enemy missile attacks. The last ability is Seeker Missile, which shoots a missile at a target, dealing area of effect damage. Ravens are a great unit if you need detection, and they provide good offense and defense whenever you need it. The Banshee is a flying unit that can only attack ground. Once researched, it has the ability to cloak by draining energy. The Banshee is an interesting unit because it's most powerful when your opponent isn't expecting it. It makes good harassment early game and late game. A tech lab attached to a starport has several upgrades to research. The first is high capacity fuel tanks, which makes the Medevac's Afterburner ability last longer. The second is explosive shrapnel shells, which makes the Raven's turrets and missiles do extra damage. The third is Corvid Reactor, which increases the Raven's starting energy. The fourth is Cloaking Field, which gives Banshees access to their cloak ability. The fifth is Advanced Ballistics, which gives the Liberator extra range for Defender mode. A fusion core is needed to research this upgrade. The last upgrade is Hyperflight Rotors, which increases the movement speed of Banshees. After a starport is constructed, you can build fusion cores. The fusion core allows a starport with an attached tech lab to produce battlecruisers and gives access to 2 upgrades to research for battlecruisers. Battlecruisers are the ultimate endgame unit for Terran. They are massive flying units that attack land and air. They are very tanky and deal pretty significant damage. Battlecruisers start with an ability called Tactical Jump, which allows them to warp anywhere on the map. The first upgrade at the fusion core is Weapon Refit, which allows battlecruisers to use their second ability, Yamato Cannon. The Yamato Cannon does very high single target damage after a short delay. The second upgrade at the fusion core is called Behemoth Reactor, which increases the starting energy for battlecruisers. And now that's every Terran unit and structure in the game. The Liberator and the Cyclone are likely to change still, but the general ideas are probably going to be the same. Stay tuned for the next part where we go over the Zerg tech tree and units. Thanks for watching guys, and good luck learning the game.